Hello, welcome to this short lesson about identifying the standard form of a quadratic equation. Let's begin. The standard form of a quadratic equation always follows a straightforward pattern. It's ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This might look a bit intimidating, but it's not. Your a, b, and c will always be numbers. Also, your a can never be 0. This form is essentially your target that you're aiming for with regards to the standard form. Let's have a look at this example. Is it in standard form? Well, it has an a that isn't 0, a b, and a c. It also equals 0. And all its variables look correct. Yes, this is an equation in standard form. Let's try another example. What about 6x squared plus 3x minus 3? It has an a b, and a c, but no equals 0 portion. Should we be concerned? Not really. 0 means, well, nothing. So if the end of 6x squared plus 3x minus 3 has nothing after it, that means there's an invisible 0 sitting right there. This qualifies as being in standard form. Now, what about this example? Negative 7x squared plus 5. Well, right off the bat, we can tell there's an a, which is the number before the x squared, and a c, which is the number by itself at the end of the expression. However, there's no b. Oh no, what does that mean? Well, remember from the beginning of the video, a, b, and c all have to be numbers, but only a can be 0. B and c can be 0 though. So, if we don't see a b in this equation, then that still doesn't end up being a big deal. After all, any number times 0 equals 0. Likewise, any variable times 0 equals 0. So, if you don't see a b followed by an x in your equation, it's also not a problem. All that means is that there's an invisible 0 as a b in the equation. You don't need to write out that 0x term, so negative 7x squared plus 0x plus 5 is the same as writing negative 7x squared plus 5 without the 0x. So yes, this equation does count as being in standard form. Now for one last example. What about 8x minus 2 equals 0? Well, the first thing to notice is that there is a b. We know that the 8 is the b instead of the a because it has the x next to it instead of an x squared. We can also tell that there's a c in this equation. However, there doesn't seem to be an a. That's a problem. If there's no a, then this isn't the standard form of a quadratic equation. That's a must-have. You always have to have an a. Well, there you go. We've covered a few examples of what the standard form of a quadratic equation can and can't look like. I hope this video helped you. If you found it useful, don't forget to like and subscribe.